করছে আপনার?
হালার পর পিছন থেকে সামনে সাবাস
Team Bagherta would officially like to wish everyone a very, very happy new year as we kick off 2024. We are still technically in 2023 when recording this, but the video will be in 2024.
not me.
Officially,
not oh yeah, that is true.
officially Bagherata's first video in 2024. It's a very special year for cricket, but more importantly, a very special year for Bagherata as this is the year Fardin Kibra is about to get married. And following that,
yo, relax, bro.
yeah, following that will be Sabir Hasan Sagar very soon. For now, Alvi Islam and I are still expecting a 24 possible.
For now, until they do us part.
Forever.
Yeah, that's fair, and that's because someone has to be here and man the ship, right? Not everyone can go.
Yeah,
and
100%.
play.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Okay, so let's start with Bangladesh versus New Zealand. What could have been a possible historic T20I series win, first ever on New Zealand soil, wasn't to be. But then, had the rain come 30 minutes before it actually did, we would have had a series win.
Yeah, I think when the third wicket fell initially for New Zealand's run chase, they thought that the clouds were coming in a lot quicker than they'd anticipated, and then when the fourth wicket fell and New Zealand were 7 or 8 runs behind on DLS, it seemed like the winds had picked up a lot more, and it was definitely coming in. It was just a question of when. But obviously some questionable captaincy calls were made at that time, knowing that you're ahead on DLS and knowing that you had the game on its neck, and any sort of rain would have obviously gotten us the win, but not meant to be, I guess. But overall, unfortunately, batting still a very big concern for Bangladesh.
Alvi, the batting concern, it's not to be taken lightly. This was officially the start of you can call it our official prep for the 2024 T20 World Cup. The good batting that we saw at home all seems to be thrown out of the window now.
Continue.
Yeah, so I think the batsmen may be trying a few things too many. I think if they can just calm down and stick to basics and just sort of, build innings from scratch. What we're doing is we're going too hard from the beginning. I know we need Ronnie and Shomo or Ronnie and whoever's opening to go, to have positive intent. But then the guys after him, you look at somebody like Afif, who's been in terrible form recently. You look at somebody like Tawhid Hridoy, who hasn't quite found his feet in T20s or even one days the same way in the past couple of months as he had initially. So we do have concerns to address, and you look at somebody like Shamim, who only has one shot. Wherever the ball is, he's playing the same shot to everything. Shamim, I think he's right now not even close to the national team, to be very honest. I like him a lot, but unfortunately, he doesn't have the game you need to have to play at number 6. He just has one shot, or he has the other shots, but he's only playing one shot. I think that's where when Shakib and Riyad Bhai come in, they sort of fit right back in place of Afif and Shamim. We say Shakib and Riyad Bhai because of the form Riyad Bhai is in. The bowling, well, more than the bowling, Shariful in general has been a revelation, to be honest. Since the Asia Cup last year, he's sort of the flag bearer for Bangladeshi fast bowling. And Rishad's been doing pretty well too. I think it's about time he pays back the faith we've put in him. So, bowling aside, just the batting for the time being, I sort of see it coming together once those two guys come back. But the openers, we need one solid opener. You can't have one opener who's sort of planting the foot and, hoping for the best, and the other one being someone like a Shomo Sharkar.
Maybe just a quick follow-up on that. I know we're disappointed with Shamim and his shot selections, of course. He's been repeating that. Doesn't matter whether it's a pacer, bowling, a spinner, or any type of delivery. He's playing that same shot. But can we also not say that the role Shamim is supposed to play, be it at 6 and 7, he's not getting to play that role if he's coming in at the 11th over, let's say, with the score being 60 for 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If he's coming in the 11th over at 60 for 5, that makes him playing that shot even more unjustified. You shouldn't be playing those shots at all if you're, halfway into the game and halfway out of your wickets. You should be building innings. So I think his shot selection and his temperament still have a long way to go. If he comes in, let's say, we saw in the Asia Cup last year, I know it's ODIs, but still, in the Asia Cup last year, he was coming in after the likes of Shakib and Mushfiq, let's say around 230, 200 odd, which I think for him is the perfect, sort of foundation to build on. But he was still making the same mistakes.
Shagor, can we say that the biggest impact and the biggest cause of this batting collapse could have been Ronnie Talukdar not deciding to review that one?
Or maybe he needs to learn how to put bat to ball.
Yeah, I think what Kibriya said, I think that happens in cricket, like taking review or not, it's sort of an instinct call as well. As a batsman, you don't want to burn up reviews, especially when you're an opener and all your wickets are left after you. You want to be sure that you have edged it or you have not, you
Yeah.
must be sure that you're not throwing another review, you're not burning another review. But having said that, yeah, I think I won't blame him for that, for the batting collapse. I would just blame him for short selection. Like Ronnie has promised much, but I think he's not delivering at this point. He should be playing more sensible cricket, given that he's one of the more experienced guys in terms of his age, and he's more of a sensible guy compared to the other youngsters, right? He has been in the scene for a long time, so he should know how to man the ship more diligently and play a more responsible role.
And in Bangladesh, we talk about how some guy we don't care about players over 30, or we don't give chances to players over 30 and things like that. Where here's a guy that has gotten a chance over 30, and unfortunately, he's not making use of it. And end of the day, it's gonna just tell the selectors and validate their thoughts that I'm not gonna give a chance to anyone over 30, because anyone I give a chance to at that age range is not gonna come and deliver, because they've played 125 all these years in Dhaka and BKSP and whatnot, and they're coming and struggling against a debutant almost, right? So yeah.
Also, but it's a bit harsh on him as well because it's alien conditions for Bangladesh in general, like playing swing and seam in green tops.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think in general the thinking should not be that players over 30 or any age, in fact, not given a chance. But yeah, you're right. Bangladeshi selectors being Bangladeshi
They think
selectors
like that, right?
will,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
will
yeah,
reinforce this idea. Yeah.
yeah.
Alvi, a young player who's certainly not over 30 but has a lot of experience already and still keeps underperforming time and again, despite us trying to be on his side, and that is Afif Hussain. What do you want to say about him?
I think he's sort of taken the batting position issue to head a little bit. He says he's comfortable batting higher up the order at, let's say, 3 or 4. He's been given a chance at 5, which I think is neither here nor there. It's sort of in between. It's the team management can say, well, you've been tried higher up than where he's usually playing 6 or 7, and you're failing at 5. So it's sort of a lose-lose situation for him where he's been given a chance higher up, but not as high as he would like, and he still can't perform. But beyond that, we've seen him do well in the domestic leagues, up the betting order. I think it's just because he's playing, like you said, 125s and the pitches we have back home. I don't think he's got the skill set you need to play in New Zealand. I don't think so personally. But if you look back home, he hasn't been doing that well either. So it looks like it's more of a mental thing than like a skill set based issue or a skill issue, because he's been performing poorly for the past, I'd say almost a year back home as well. So regardless of where he's playing, he can't sort of get in the right headspace.
Fardin, the thing about Mahadi, again, now looking at some of the more positive aspects of this series, one of which was, of course, Mahadi, the man of the match of the first game. With Mahadi, you know that you're going to get results out of him most days if you give him the new ball, but you also can't give him the new ball every day because not every day the conditions are going to favor him. Not every day the
Yeah,
opponents are going to be bad exponents of off spin.
yeah,
Given that, can we still conclude that Mahedi should be the front runner for our second choice spinner to accompany Shakib going forward?
yeah. I think he's shown enough in the World Cup. I don't know why he wasn't picked for the ODI squad at all after the World Cup, because in the limited opportunities he got, where he actually got a 3 wicket and then was dropped the next game and stuff like that. He did well at the World Cup, so I think he's shown enough in this series to show that his skill sets are very specifics to the shorter format of the game, and that's why he's so successful in limited overs cricket. I think one of his biggest weapons, his change of pace and his variations, because he bowls different deliveries. He doesn't let a batsman get set to one type of delivery or one type of pace on the ball. Um, and I think he needs to go back to Dhaka and have a clinic with Miraj and teach him a few of his variations, because Miraj has become a straight, like, now I think he tries to bowl like 2 steps behind the line, try to, like, bring more flight into it and stuff, but it's not going to work, because when you're not changing your pace as much and you're undercutting the ball consistently, it doesn't matter where you deliver from, because batsmen don't have to factor in turn. They just have to play the line of the ball. And with Mahdi, that's the one thing that you do have to factor in, which is turn. And Daryl Mitchell tried to hit him over the top twice and got out. And we know how good of a form he's been in. And when you're trying to hit an off spinner against the turn, you're always gonna either be bowled or you're gonna be caught at long off. So yeah, that's the type of thing that happened, and yeah, it's good to see. So yeah, once Shakib comes back, I think definitely those two take the lead.
Boys, Rishad and his possible future?
Not bad, not exceptional, but he's looked good, I think, in the series. I think first time for a Bangladeshi leg spinner playing after I don't even know how many years. So in terms of game time, it was good to see right after that first ODI. He got a few games. He got a stretch of like 4 games, right? Or 5 games. Didn't really, yeah. So it's good to see he's in the mix. I think he needs to. His biggest problem, I think, at least from what I've seen on videos, is, and I was telling you this when we were watching that ODI together, was he tries to bowl sliders and turn it off his finger rather than actually, like, wrist spinners, where you have a lighter grip on your hand and like really try to make the wrist work. It seems like it's not a lot of that, but it's a lot of side of the hand, try to flick it off the finger kind of a thing. So that's something that needs to be worked on. And like Alvi said, he's someone that they've invested a lot in for 5 years at least, I think, right now. So I would have expected some of these things to be rectified at this stage, but maybe that's something he's comfortable with and not really ready to show on a game day. He might be working on things behind the screen. So that's something I would like him to work on, because when you're bowling sliders and stuff, we saw what happened is Bangladesh had them under pressure, but then he bowled that one slider down leg and Finn Allen smacked him over deep square leg. So some of those things, just a little bit of rectification, but yeah, good to watch.
Also, I think his batting is a plus
Oh
point,
yeah, yeah,
as he showed against the, I think, New Zealand 11, the tour game, and
and then any of
also
the games he batted
glimpses,
well
For
too.
11.
yeah, also
Yeah,
glimpses of his batting prowess in the ODIs or in the
yeah,
T20 international that he's played. So I think that's a positive point as well. He can be our, in the future, sort of a Mirage role, like bowling all rounder, if he can also improve, as you say, part in the technical aspects of leg spin being
yeah.
consistent and spin the ball more. And
Mm.
also, if he improves his batting, I think we have a good all rounder, a rare leg spinning all rounder within our ranks.
Yeah.
Alvi, would you still not keep someone like Miraj around just because of the flexibility or the sense of reliability that he gives you?
I've said this before. I'd like to see Miraj play in the top order, not as a bowler, but as a top order batsman. I don't know where, somewhere in there, but as a batsman.
But he has opened in the past in T20Is, of course, as high up as I'm sorry, as high level as the Asia Cup.
Wait, hold on, hold
But
on. So you're saying T20s? You're saying T20s
T20s,
only,
yeah,
or white ball
yeah,
format?
only T20s. No, no, for now we're only talking T20s.
Might not have a spot for him in T20s. Maybe not. Not that he doesn't deserve one, but with the lineup we've got, I don't see a spot opening up for him unless somebody like a Tawhid Hidayat gets dropped for a long time, or Afif gets dropped for a long time, because like we said, um, Afif and who was the
Afif,
other person,
Shamim,
Shamim,
Hriday.
they sort of so Afif Shamim make way for Shakib and Riyadh. So the Rido has got the backing, I'd say, for at least another year from the team management. So if he sort of does miserably poorly within the next 12 months, he might get dropped. And I don't know who's coming in for him, but that could be a spot to try Miraj if the team management wants.
Mahmudullah Riyad's T20 comeback, wouldn't it also depend a lot on whether he can recover on time and perform well in the BPL?
Yeah, I think BPL form will, because Bangladesh only plays 8 T20Is next year. Um, three against Afghanistan, no, three against Sri Lanka, and then five against Zimbabwe. So not really any significant
And
fixture.
just to clarify, these are the 8 before the T20 World
Before
Cup.
the
We have a
T20
few
World.
after, but
Yeah,
not that
yeah,
that
yeah.
matters all
But
that much.
like leading up to the World Cup,
Mhm.
that's the only 8. So I think form in BPL will play into a lot of effect, and we've seen, BPL form sometimes gets you national call-ups like Munim Shahriar. So there might be a few guys interested in making a slot for themselves.
Tawhid
Maybe,
Hidayat.
yeah, exactly. Like Ridoy, if he gets to open again, that will be good for him. I don't know.
Hridoy,
Yasir
did he
Ali
open?
Rabi. Ridoy opened last time, right? Sillet Strikers.
No, he played
He didn't
top
open. He
order,
played in the
middle
middle.
order. So let's say three,
No,
four.
no,
Yeah.
no. I'm
He
pretty sure
opened
he.
for Sylhet all the way back in 2019 when David Warner played, and he and David Warner opened together. And
I
after
will
that, he
check.
never
I
opened.
will
He
check
always played in the
this.
middle.
I will check
He played
this.
last year for Silet at 3 and 4, maybe 5 if he need. He did open a couple games actually, not all the games. He opened a few games
He
last year.
was in the couple of games in the middle. I think they were filling in for some player.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
it. Yep.
So just off of that, like how you were saying our fixtures for this year, I think we've got a pretty shit year coming up because all the tours we've got, the fixtures we've got, they're very boring. Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, all these teams. West Indies is
Just
okay,
respect the
we're playing
opponent, but
away.
it's a little boring
Respect
for what it is.
all, yeah. I mean, with all due respect, I mean, it's sort of a pretty dull year. Pakistan is, no, we're going to Pakistan. We all know what's happening there. We're going to India. That might be the only decent series this year, like the only one with high stakes. The other ones are pretty, it is what it is. West Indies, Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, Zimbabwe. We're playing 5 T20s with Zimbabwe. Why? They haven't even qualified for the World Cup.
Moral boost.
And we're playing at home. We're playing Zimbabwe, who didn't qualify at Mirpur. Why? What is the whole point?
Zimbabwe, who lost to Namibia in the T20
Yeah, in the
series.
T20
And
qualifiers. Yeah.
who wants to
Watch,
bet that
watch,
Zimbabwe could actually win the series against Bangladesh after this? Like,
and watch us play a full strength team against them. Shakib, Riyad, everybody. Not ever. Taskin comes back, and still lose to them at Mirpur.
Shagor, here's another possible BPL candidate who needs to perform well in the BPL. I think he's still playing for Sylhet this season, and that is Tanzim Sakib. Would you not base his T20I comeback on his performance for Sylhet? Because I still don't think he's by any means a sure shot candidate for that T20 World Cup spot.
Yeah, I think, unless he has a really, really good BPL, he most likely won't get picked in the squad for the World Cup, right? Because we have lot of pacers waiting in the wings, and with Mustafiz, always in the mix.
Confirm.
Yeah,
Confirm.
with the confirmed starter,
Auto choice.
auto choice, and then Hassan Mahmoud Taskin, and we're playing spinners. We got a good Mahdi.
Shoriful.
Yeah, Shoriful is always. I think Shoriful and Mustafiz will be the auto choice.
Yeah, auto
One by
choice.
performance
And
and one by
Taskins will
selection.
only depend on his injury and fitness. That's
Yeah.
Shoriful
it.
actually
Yeah,
deserves the auto choice.
Shoriful. Yeah,
Shoriful is our final topic of this tour. Shoriful has been the biggest positive, arguably, of the entirety of 2023 for Bangladesh. And of course, I'm not marketing this drink, so I don't know why I'm holding it. But yeah, the whole point is
No free advertisements on the show.
no free advertisements. Gonna cover
But we're
this
open to
free.
it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, whoever
we
wants
are
to.
Yeah,
open to sponsorships always.
at Grace Island Soda, if you're feeling generous. Anyways, so coming back to Shoriful again, phenomenal year, and the best way to cap it all off, he gets the man of the series in New Zealand in that T20I series. He's the architect behind our bowling success during this T20I series and even in the ODI series. So, some talk about him and how much we're looking forward to, as usual, potentially exhausting him in 2024 by playing him in all three formats.
Yeah, they're gonna play him in every match, every
Watch
tournament,
him
every
get injured in
series.
the BPL and then
Yeah,
not play for the next year.
yeah. They're gonna create the worst tracks. Like, all this. I don't know who made Rakibul Hassan the tournament director or whatever he is, because now because always he comes on camera and always has some kind of controversy. Now he's tournament director or whatever for BPL. Now he's
And
come.
just to add something to that, this isn't the first time BCB tries to cater to some individual who's always online or always
Yeah,
in front of the media,
yeah,
criticizing them by bringing them in and
into
giving them
that.
a position like this.
Exactly,
So
This isn't
so
the
exactly.
first
so
time, and this isn't going to be the last. And they're going to keep
so
doing this
they've
again and again. I don't know what this
they've
brings them.
So the chief
they've
match referee is also the tournament director.
That's what I was gonna say, right? So this guy is supposed to be match referee,
Yeah,
and now he's tournament director.
yeah, he's BCB's
Did
chief
did
match
did
referee, but
Bangladesh
BCB get
Cricket Board, the land of
did
the
BCB
conflict
get
of
rid of?
interest.
I'm Chutak. Did BCB
That's it.
get
No,
rid
no,
of
he actually
Sexohel?
summed it up well.
Did BCB get rid of Sexohel?
Sheikh Sohail, completely different roles, because
Right.
uh, what
But he said he
Rakibul
was going to
Hassan is
leave.
doing is he's for, like, ensuring all the backstage, all those productions, this, that, all of those
He's the
early days
wackiest dude to give you
to
to
give this
monitor
to,
all that.
exactly,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
now he's promising that they're gonna have DRS from first game,
That's what
Hotspot.
Jal Yunus said. So
hotspot
we already
from
have
first.
that. He said hotspot.
I know.
Hotspot. He said
No,
hotspot.
no, no, no.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, like, that's what. But he said they're gonna have DRS from game one. Like, they always
We were
had
supposed
DRS.
to
It was
have DRS.
ADRS or whatever.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
no. So they promised last year we'd have DRS all of this year, and Jal
yeah,
Yunus even said like a month ago DRS has been already contacted, and I think paid for. Like DRS is confirmed, locked in for this year. We don't need Rakibul Hasan to say that separately,
yeah, yeah.
but also. So no, I asked because Sexohel said he was gonna leave, like he was gonna resign or something. He said in an interview, "আমাদের অনেক কাম কাজ আছে, আপনারা এগুলো দেখেন না." So that's why, like, is he still
Yeah.
there or no? That's why I'm asking.
I I have no idea who's on the board. So
I'm even skeptical about the DRS thing because last season's BPL, I think it was running
Only for the
simultaneously
playoffs.
with a couple of other franchise
leagues.
tournaments. That's why
Yeah,
they
Yeah.
cited as a reason for not getting the technology.
you're not
This
gonna,
year,
exactly.
this year, it's
There's
running
five.
simultaneously with 5 other T20 leagues. So I'm not sure how, unless technology has improved or they have more
No, so
More
manpower.
bodies. Yeah,
their
exactly.
their official excuse was we've got the the machinery and everything else, like the
Manpower.
equipment. No, we've got the equipment at Mirpur. We don't have the manpower.
Hmm.
So that's what they've said.
Yeah.
Jal Yunus said we've spoken to DRS or Hawkeye or whoever, and they said they've promised to be here for the BPL. So
Yeah.
BCB
I think
promised.
Here's the
going
best
back to
part, and
short.
it's
Yeah.
so it's so
No, no.
schoolboyish that look, if you admit today that you're not going to get DRS a month later, you're going to face backlash constantly throughout this month and then constantly till the end of the tournament.
Yeah.
If you say that you're going to have it now, you're not going to face up any backlash up until the start of the tournament. The backlash begins then and it goes up till the end of the tournament. And a week after the tournament, we all forget who Kumilla Victorians actually defeated in the final. We just remember that Kumilla Victorians won because
Yeah,
that
yeah.
happens
That
every year.
that that's
And that's
gonna
it.
happen regardless, right? Yeah.
That's a constant. Yeah.
I think with regards to Shoriful, I think one of the things Alvi mentioned in one of our recent podcasts was how faulty the speedometer was at the last BPL because it made Mrityunjoy think that he was bowling 140s for the whole
140
tournament
up. Yeah.
at 140. And I think in a World Cup year, that's probably the worst thing that can happen because people will come, they'll bowl probably at 132 and it will be like 146 and all of a sudden you're gonna have guys thinking they're bowling 146, selectors thinking there are guys bowling 146, and then you go to
Nahid
the
ran a
World Cup 140,
149.7.
yeah, and then you go to the World Cup and all of a
You're
sudden these
bowling
guys are
120.
getting hit off the front foot for six, right? But no, Shoriful exceptional. I think you look at the way he's bowled throughout the ODI series. I think besides the World Cup where he kind of had a up and down time, he was exceptional at the Asia Cup. He was exceptional in that Afghanistan ODI that he came back for. Um, New Zealand series. It seems like when Shoriful gets assistance from the wicket or he gets assistance from the conditions, he's able to do something with it. He's really able to make use of that, something Hassan Mahmood seems to be struggling with, or some of the other guys seem to be struggling with. I think you guys will agree that some of the wickets he's taken, like amazing setups, really well executed deliveries.
And the lengths he's hitting. The
Yeah,
lengths he's hitting
like
are
we've always
impeccable.
talked about on the show, having someone that is bowling an enforcer length. Alvi mentioned like the Liam Plunkett role, like someone who hits the deck hard, rushes the batsman or makes them play on the along the wrong line. You saw that Finn Allen wicket on the third T20I. They
Six
showed
for
that
six.
that yeah, his bat went the original line of the delivery, but that deviation he did not even take it into account because it happened so late in the delivery. So
Even Glenn
uh,
Phillips, both
yeah,
dismissals.
even Glenn Phillips, exactly. So yeah, exceptional to see Shoriful's comeback this year, but unfortunately, the way it is with Bangladesh cricket, and you might
It's
say I'm
always short lived.
pessimistic. Yeah, I just don't want to be too excited because we've seen guys have one good year and then unfortunately have four bad years in a row, and some people live off that one good year for rest of their careers. So
Auto choice
Uh,
Mustafiz.
to sum up this T20I series, any final comments?
great win in the first match.
Mustafiz has,
Unfortunately,
solidified his spot for the next 6 years
yeah,
again with that
yeah,
one inning, with one spell.
one swell, yeah, but unfortunately, batting is a big concern across all formats.
But I think overall, for me, the positives outweigh the negatives in general because the fight that they showed in most
Yeah, we
games,
talked about in the World Cup that they weren't competing at all, and they competed
yeah, they competed
throughout
at
the.
least. And
Yeah,
even after scoring a modest 110, they
yeah,
gave it their all. So it
They
was
came
nice.
hard, yeah.
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 Absolutely, very impressive, and we can only hope that things stay this way and we don't just lose track of everything once the home T20Is begin. Now that sums up the T20I series, and we covered the ODI series before that. What's next is, of course, a little interesting. The two Boxing Day test matches that we saw.
Thank God
Which one
India
do you want to boys
lost,
start with?
bro. It doesn't matter which one. You just start with India because India got rolled in three under 3 days.
Shit, man. Viewers.
No, no. Okay. How much do you justify Michael Vaughan's statement? And I'm asking this because of this reason that we've heard so many people talk. I'm not saying this from a defensive point of view. I'm saying this because so many people spoke about, how in 25 years Bangladesh have achieved nothing as a cricketing nation. But then that's what Michael Vaughan is going after. Like, India have been playing cricket since their independence. And even before that, they were playing just not as freely. with that being said, they're still struggling to get test wins away from home. They're still getting steamrolled away from home, despite having such an experienced and talented squad. How do you justify that?
I think with India, um, the biggest problem is they award performances in other formats with selection in a different format. And that, like, why is Prasidh Krishna in the team? Like, what has he done to become a test match bowler? Like, you look at his bowling, and does he look like Neandre Berger has played less than him in international cricket and looks like a much more complete bowler, right? And they have been, I don't know, hyping up Prasidh Krishna for however long in the last 2 3 years because he bounced out Virat Kohli once in the nets or something in some condition somewhere. Anyways, all of those, like, look at how um, for the second test match they've picked up Avesh Khan because he got a fifer against South Africa A on the third day, or like four out of a 4 day of a 4 day match or something like that. And I think when you're picking guys like that, or when you're picking your squads like that, it doesn't really give you that core, because you had that core with Pujara, you had that core with Rahane, things like that, but they don't have that core in test matches right now. It seems like it's always shifting here and there. Um, you could say top three is essentially settled for now, more or less, but you know, someone gets injured, some new guy comes in.
Fardin, I would like to just
Yeah,
disagree a bit on the top 3 point.
yeah.
I've been seeing a meme quite recently about the first 35 innings or something of Shubman Gill compared to Ravi
Oh yeah,
Ashwin.
of
And Ashwin
Yeah,
has more runs than him.
yeah,
So not only for that meme, but in general also, Shubman Gill's performance, except for a couple of innings, has not been that good till now. And
yeah,
he's been given a longer rope than most other opening batsmen, like Ishwaran, right? The one
yeah,
who is always
yeah,
the reserve opener.
yeah,
He
but
doesn't
never
get any
gets picked.
chances.
Yeah, yeah,
I think he's captaining his Ranji side for some years now, and he's
yeah,
been performing in the Ranji Trophy for a lot of
yeah,
years. So I think players like that, as I mentioned, just picking and choosing players from different formats and putting them in the test side. Surya Kumar Yadav, out
yeah,
of
yeah.
nowhere, coming
What
test
is that?
side.
Like,
Yeah, I think that is a problem the Indian side is facing right now. They're not gelling as a format-based player.
yeah,
Like Mukesh Kumar should have been picked for sure. He's
hundred
a proper
percent,
bowler in those
100%.
conditions.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a
Umesh Yadav got dropped for what? Like, I have no idea. Anyways, like, but yeah, I mean, you can't disagree with Michael Vaughan, and I'm glad someone has the balls to say it, because Mark Waugh was like, "Oh, I don't want to get in trouble for saying these things." Vaughny, you're gonna lose out on deals in India after saying that. Well, who cares, man? Stop being scared
Bonnie's
of
been
some
saying
guy.
these things for years, and these have been getting him more deals in India. Why do
Yeah,
people not realize that?
and he got deals in India when he got cancelled by Sky too during that time, right? So, um, like, I'm glad he's saying it, because Indians are obviously oblivious to this and they don't want to listen to this. But I'm glad someone's out there to say it.
But was it also not bizarre? Like, if this topic should have come up even before the series. Why did Rahane even get dropped in the first place? He wasn't doing all that bad.
Bro came back, did well, got dropped for whatever. I have no idea.
The main
Oh, good
problem for
news.
not
India
only
is
picked.
the
I think he
fact
was the
that
vice captain as well.
Oh yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
Yeah,
Alvi.
he
yeah,
was. He was. He
yeah.
literally
Yeah,
was.
Alvi, carry on.
the main problem for India is the fact that it's a national team game and not an IPL game.
Mm,
That's why they can't perform.
yeah.
Funnily enough, in the IPL, I think Mukesh would have been picked ahead of Prasidh Krishna because those
In the
franchises they
IPL,
know
Shubman Gill is scoring
what to
hundreds for
benefit.
fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's a
They
shame.
need an IPL for Test cricket. That's what
Apart
they
from
need.
Chennai, all
Some
the
people have
IPL
literally said
pitches
that.
are kind of roads. Even if Alvi
Lucknow
goes
and
there, he's
Chennai,
gonna
yeah.
smash a 50, I think.
Yeah.
But then moving on to South Africa and their overall performance. Before that, sorry, just a word on Virat Kohli and how good he looked overall.
Yeah, I mean, you look at his output in the 2 innings is unfortunately, I think Fardin Afnan jinxed him both times. Because right after
Stories
he
with
posted
Afnan.
stories that right after he posted, he got out both times. But it just shows he's so much above the level of the
He's a
current
class
Indian
apart.
batters. Exactly. Like I don't know. You guys want to chime in on that?
Even then, if you notice, he gave chances at the
Yeah.
beginning of the innings. He was
Yeah.
dropped. I think
First
by the
innings
sub
especially. Yep.
fielder, yeah, Mulder. So still, it shows how good South African bowlers were in those conditions. That, but still, yeah, Virat, the way he played, he was very solid. And I think Sunil Gavaskar was saying some of the Indian batters, especially Shubman Gill, has been playing way too aggressively in
Yeah.
the red ball arena. They should be more circumspect and respect the conditions. That scale Rahul showed.
Have we sort of like, correct me if I'm wrong, have India sort of missed a trick by discarding Karun Nair way too early?
I
I
think
think so.
there's definitely calls for that because once a guy scores something like 300 and you
Against
gave him
England.
exact against England and what they dropped him maybe after one more innings or something like that, or he never played after that innings itself, something like
That
that.
was
No, no, no.
debut. I think that
He
was his
Played
debut
one
game.
game
got
or two games, I think.
it
Oh yeah,
wasn't debut. It was like second game, and then he
yeah,
got dropped in the Bangladesh game because Rahane came back,
yeah.
and then he got a comeback against Australia in a
Australia.
very, very difficult series. By the way, Virat Kohli couldn't get a single score above
That's
30
when
in
he
that
was getting
thing.
bowled by Stephen O'Keefe leaving the ball and stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So in that difficult series, they used that one series to justify never picking him again, which is just so harsh.
It's a rock in the middle order, which is what you need consistently in Test match cricket, and unfortunately, we don't have that. And uh, I mean, you look at India's output now. Um South Africa batted one guy short, and these guys still lost, right? Like Bavuma did not even bat, right? And
South
they,
Africa
It
won.
kind of
That's why they
justifies.
won. Ex-
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would say that's why they won, but it kind of justifies the whole, when you play with Bavuma, you play with one man short. That whole
yeah,
meme.
One man
exactly.
short, short.
one man short.
My guy, we are in 2024 already, technically. We can't make fun of these things anymore. Come on.
Only make fun of Rakim Cornwall, yeah?
Oh, no, 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 no.
What are you guys'
Far from it.
thoughts on not
The
picking a
USA
specialist
T20?
keeper? No, no,
Oh,
not
we're going to come to that. We're going to come to that.
not picking a specialist keeper, but rather going with KL Rahul as the keeper
He's
batsman.
as good as a specialist keeper, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
he's
think there's no
keeping
But
doubt.
is
is it too
pretty
much
good now.
pressure on him for 5 days, like a test
I think
match?
so.
I mean, Ishan
If
Kishan
he
could
has
have
to do all
played.
the
He
batting,
had to back out last minute. So, I mean, between Bharat and Rahul is still the
Is
better,
still
out
better.
and out
Yeah,
better choice, right?
yeah, yeah.
I think batting in number 5 or 6 is not that
it's
big of a
fair,
problem
yeah.
for Rahul. Yeah. Also, he's very fit.
I mean, Jaswal and Gill are getting out for less than 5, so it's not really
Exactly,
helping.
that's what I was saying. If he has to do all the batting and all the keeping, then it's an issue.
Yeah.
Now moving on to South Africa, they had a phenomenal test match. We're gonna go into Dean Elgar's performance a bit later. Let's start with Kagiso Rabada, one of the best strike bowlers to have graced the game ever, possibly, and easily a complete beast at home. Very, very good away from home as well. But even with this 5 wicket haul, there's a bit of talk about Kagiso Rabada possibly having the tag of a home track bully.
Mhm.
Can we negate that or can we justify that?
I don't think he's a home track bully. I think
I think
Rabada
he's
has
just a
shown.
bully.
He's just a bully. Exactly. He's just a bully.
Friendly bully.
Like he's shown enough in all conditions to justify how good he is. Even this, he's what? He's still not 30, right? He's 27,
20, no, 29, I think.
29,
Maybe.
29 or something like that. But yeah, exceptional bowler, all formats considered. And especially because they don't have Nokia and he's still delivering at that level. I mean, that delivery to Rohit Sharma, second innings. Freaking seed. Straight up seed. Shubman Gill has an issue. He has the Mushfiqur Rahim issue. Anything coming in, missing.
Chops on also.
Chops on, yeah.
Dean Elgar, final test series, and what a poetic way to play his penultimate test match.
Man's gonna be
At his home ground.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, what he scored, how much?
180
185.
odd.
180 something.
185
And
exactly. Yep.
yeah,
Really wish he actually got the double hundred because
the-
his best score in test is 199.
oh, maybe
Against who?
saving it for his last game. Against
Maybe.
who is a good question because it might be against Bangladesh.
Yeah, exactly. That's why.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe.
2017. Yeah.
So wait, did we get him out, or did the others get bowled out?
No, I think he got out. Let me check.
Who got him? Who got him?
Yeah, it was against Bangladesh. Mustafi's bowling, Mominur caught maybe. Let me check. Crazy.
Mustafiz.
Crazy.
Yeah, Mustafizur
Oh, when
bowling,
Mustafiz
Mominul has
used to
caught
still
it.
play test matches.
Then it
Yeah.
has to be 2017.
Yeah, 2017. Mustafiz
Yeah,
wearing a white shirt just feels
2017.
like a whole different
First
lifetime.
test.
First test
Mus-
2017. Yeah.
Mustafiz in a white shirt feels like a different, dimension, like not even this realm.
But no, I think fairy tale ending for him. He's gonna get to captain his last test. Um, thanks to Bavuma. And he showed under my watch, India's not winning a series in freaking South Africa, bro. After my watch, anything can happen. I don't care. But under my watch, that shit's not happening.
Yeah, I think Elgar is one of the, you know, species, if you can call it, in Test match cricket. The dog-head opener. You don't get anymore. I
No,
think there's only
that's
one or
hard
two
nose.
left,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
West
We can think
Indian
of maybe
Craig.
Craig Brathwaite
Yeah, that's what I
or
was saying. This was
Timur
getting to.
Karunaratne.
Yeah,
Just these two.
yeah. I think Craig Brathwaite sort of player you won't get anymore as T20 franchises keep getting like eating up the cricket window more and more, the cricket calendar. So yeah, I think he was one of the players who just stuck at the crease, kind of a Cheteshwar Pujara kind of a wicket that he won't give his wicket away. He would take bouncers on his ribs, on his chest. He would
Yeah.
fight for the country. You don't see those kinds of players, too many players anymore,
Like a Javed Umar Belly.
right? Except that
No, I
he
respected
scores.
that man for that exact reason, Javed Umar
Yeah,
Belli.
Exactly. He would stay
He
at
was
the
special.
crease.
Yeah.
All-round performance from Marco Jansen. Very, very impressive once again.
I think he's very, like, if you look at the rankings, the all-rounder rankings, I don't see him rated as high up as he should be. He's very, goes under the radar, very underrated. Talking about rankings, Phil Salt just jumped from 99 to 2 in the T20 batter rankings. So
ICC
Well deserved
rankings
too.
work in a weird way, man. Ravi
yeah,
Bishnoi became like the number one or T20I
yeah,
bowler.
so Sami Bait actually did a video on this, and if you saw the video, it was like it depends who you get out, where they bat, if they're a top order, if they're a lower order, if you win the series or if you lose the series, if it's at home or away. It's even more difficult than the Duckworth Lewis, type stuff. Crazy.
uh,
But yeah, so South Africa were going through, especially in tests, a bit of an all-rounder problem. Peflukayo and Mulder weren't really cutting it for them in red ball cricket. Mulder is still kept around. Yeah, I
yeah,
agree with Alvi's
Mulder's yeah,
silent assessment, but they still have to keep him around because they
yeah,
literally don't have any other all-rounders. And finally, Jansen stepping up and sort of filling that hole.
yeah. I mean, Janssen, except that Netherlands game at the World Cup where he got out in a very shitty way. I think he's shown that he's a very capable all rounder to bat at that position. And we already know what he gives with the ball. He looks like someone who's lazy running in and whatnot, but he does so much with his wrists, with his seam position and things like that. Yeah, exceptional bowler and obviously really growing in stature as a batter too. So good times for South Africa, and I think maybe they might find someone a replacement for Mulder from the C team they're sending in New Zealand.
Yeah, what's with the
Before we
team
get,
they're sending to New Zealand? Who are
oh,
they?
we're gonna get into that. We're definitely gonna get into that. One last topic, Shagor. Burgers cl- making a name for himself both in the ODI series and in the Test series, and also creating this good competition once Norhie and Lungi come back.
Yeah, I think South African fast bowling has never been an issue for them. The pipeline that they have, they keep producing, they keep churning out bowlers, young bowlers who are really good at their game. And yeah, Berger showed really good composure. The Indian batting lineup was really strong with Kohli and Rahul and Rohit and whatnot. So yeah, Berger, and I think one person we should talk about is also like David Bedingham.
Bellingham, yeah.
He
Yeah.
looked like he has played over
100 test
50 test
matches. Like this
matches.
guy's
Yeah,
freaking pulling off the back foot like this. Oh
man,
my
it was
god.
like 4
So
a.m. in my time when I was watching him bat, and it was crazy. The cover drives that he was playing against
yeah.
Bumrah and Siraj and those bowlers.
Big cover
Excellent.
drives coming from Zubair Hamza next week.
Hamza,
Wow,
yeah,
seriously.
also Bedingham.
Yeah.
He's one of the only, I think, 2 or 3 players who are making the trip.
Who average like
Yeah,
yeah.
and also
But
he's making the trip to New Zealand,
yeah.
so we'll
No,
see more of him.
Beddingham's played for Durham, I think, the last couple of years in county
Yeah,
cricket. He scored a lot of runs. He initially went to England thinking he could play for England. England didn't really give him a chance. He didn't even play for Lions or anything. So South Africa, like they're doing with some of the older players now, they're trying to get them to come back and play in South Africa and do well in the domestic structure. And I think he beat the wall down this year because he just scored more runs than anyone else in South African domestic this year. And I mean, in the warm up game, like the South Africa A versus India A game, the first match that they had, he didn't score runs. So I was worried that he wouldn't get picked for the first match, but came through and looked so good, like Sagar said.
That New Zealand squad, sorry, the squad for the New Zealand tour, is it just something you have to accept at this point and say, look, at least they're still playing that series rather than forfeiting it like they did against Australia in the ODI series earlier this year? Sorry, earlier in 2023, that is. Uh, just take it for now and just accept it for what it is, right?
yeah. I'm afraid if some intervention doesn't happen to preserve Test match cricket for countries other than the big three, England, India, and Australia, this is what we'll see more often.
Yeah,
Teams not sending their teams or sending their second, third string players,
yeah,
and which will culminate in that team not playing tests at all in the next decade or something, next 5 years.
yeah.
So yeah, I think something needs to be done if Test cricket needs to thrive in countries other than the big three.
And I've seen a lot of people on Twitter and other social medias talking about, oh, they should schedule these series when they're not playing their T20I, SA20, SA20 or whatever. Not a lot of countries have this liberty, like India and Australia and and England, right? Other countries don't have the liberty to schedule matches when they want and how it fits their schedule because how the FTP is structured is you fit the big three first and also when they want to play against each other first and
And then
then
no,
you can
you do the IPL first, and
and
then
then you do
everything.
the IPL window where also these three teams will not play anything because this is the IPL window they can't play anything. So that takes out literally 4 months
Two
of the
months, three
year
months, yeah.
because you have the Indian home season, you have the Australian home season, which kind of overlaps a little
The
bit. You have the
Paytm home
English home
series.
season. Exactly. Like it takes out so much of the year that you can't even do anything, and teams have to play when they have to play when it's scheduled. And unfortunately, for teams like Bangladesh or South Africa, West Indies, whatever it is, when they have series like this that overlap with their T20 league, this T20 league is what's bringing them a lot of their money. So to sustain that, they have to essentially because Cricket South Africa has a deal with SA20 that all the first choice players are always going to be available for SA20. So unfortunately, they can't do anything because it's a deal is a deal on a legal term, right?
Yeah, I think they even
So wait,
asked New Zealand if they want to reschedule the series. New Zealand cricket said they don't have the option.
Yeah, they don't have the option exactly.
Smart. I mean, You
So
can't
wait,
really fault New Zealand cricket here. They're prioritizing what's right.
Yeah.
And I think one of the
so the
comments I
main
saw on Wisdom's page was that, these soulless T20 leagues, fans genuinely don't care about them, but they're the ones
yeah.
making the money. So where do you draw the line at the end of the day? Board needs the money, but the board also needs the fans to stay interested in the game.
Well, the line was supposed to be drawn when they did this big three thing 10 years ago, in 2014, when they said, oh, there was going to be this ICC test fund that was going to go to all these other teams. If you're not giving out 60% of the ICC share to India every year, and then the other 30%, 10% goes to freaking Australia, 10% goes to England, and then the other 10%, all these teams are fighting over. Well, if they didn't do their revenue split like that, then a lot of this problem wouldn't, surface, because we didn't have these problems prior to 2014, right? These weren't an issue prior to 2014, 2015. And because of the way they have allowed this to unfold now, where India gets so much of the share, like you look at New Zealand cricket, they're only making $7 million a year. $7 million a year for a national governing body is literally nothing.
So we're gonna have to bid farewell tonight, an early night for Sabir Hasan Sagar as he goes on to enjoy his New Year's Eve. Sagar, thank you
Yeah,
very much.
yeah.
Enjoy
Thank you,
barbecue, man.
everyone. You guys continue, and yeah, hope to see you soon in 2024.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Sagar, for reminding us how we don't have plans on New Year's Eve. Anyways, I think we can move on to the other Boxing Day test match, which was surprisingly very interesting and very, very well contested. In the end of the day, Pat Cummins silenced another set of crowd once again.
The year of
But
Pat
Alvi,
Cummins.
Yeah.
you were there from day one at the MCG. So could you walk us through that?
With the rain.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with cricket here is nobody goes to the cricket unless it's a test match, unfortunately. And even more so because it was Boxing Day, you sort of had the crowd you had. Following days, it was even less.
Yeah.
So I think what really happened was, yeah, second day, third day, it sort of, faded into the background a bit. But then come day four, it sort of, because it was, I think, you know, the result day, you're going to get a result anyways. And with Pakistan needing, I think Australia were maybe five down, so batting on stumps
Yeah.
on day three.
Victory. Yeah.
So you expected there to be a sub 200 to 300 target. And then when Pakistan were on, I think 200, maybe 20-ish for five, everyone thought, okay, I mean, they're getting there. It's 5 wickets.
Yeah. They needed 98 runs with five left, and then
Right. And then Rizwan pulled what he pulled. God knows what he wanted to pull, showing the white mark on his hand. Did he expect a white mark from a red ball? Is that what he tried to prove? I don't know. But yeah, like I saw in a meme, classic Pakistan, um, they haven't lost the game until they've tried everything to lose the game.
my
So,
question is, sorry to cut you off. It brushed him on this part,
yeah, the wrist,
and he's showing a bruise on this
forearm.
part.
Yeah. So Rizwan, I sort of, you know, relate to him on some sort of level where Rizwan on the outside is, confirmed Jannati, but on the inside, he's the most out of pocket, wild ass person you'll ever meet. Because you see him appealing. There's like a whole compilation of him appealing,
Yeah,
and then the following second he's saying, "Oh yeah, that wasn't even
that was
close.
enough.
That
Yeah,
didn't hit. No
yeah,
chance in hell that was out. Don't
yeah,
even go for the review."
yeah,
He's sledging Bangladeshi batsmen in Bangla from keeping. I mean, he's just a wild player, and that's very enjoyable to watch. With the stump
yeah,
mic and everything.
yeah,
Um, but then he's sort of, there's no in between for him. He's either very serious with what he's doing or he's very out of pocket.
out of pocket.
So with Rizwan, he'll do these. He'll try and take a chance with you. He'll try and take a chance with the umpire, and that I think was the perfect example of that.
I think a positive for Pakistan, Shan Masood's captaincy and even his batting.
Oh
And
yeah,
his
I
English.
mean, and
That
no,
has
I
always been a positive.
he's captained so well in this series, and some people are making memes like, oh, Shan Masood's test losses already equal Babur's test losses. Shut up. Like, honestly, like, shut up. Like, you guys are so stupid. Like, you're comparing freaking apples to oranges kind of a situation. Anyways, I think we saw with the way he changed his bowlers around. What I really liked was his field settings. He set exceptional fields to almost every batsman. He had really good plans in place on how they wanted to get them out, especially in that second innings. They were very cutthroat. Uh, Made a couple of predictions that went the right way, where I said Shaheen was gonna get a couple early, and then Marsh and Smith were gonna be, the main wickets. But I think what really hurt Pakistan in this test match was dropping Marsh when Abdullah Shafiq did drop him, because he added 76 runs at the end. They also did bowl about 50 extras, where a lot of the deliveries went over the head and stuff. And I think that was in the first innings, not in the second innings. But yeah, I think. But overall, as a captain, exceptional. And like you said, with his batting, he's trying to put that pressure back. He's trying to play like that Ben Stokes kind of a role, where he's trying to be aggressive and positive and really, um, I guess, play with fire, kind of, where he's looking to be aggressive and put pressure back on the bowlers and make them do something different. Because I don't think Lyon's been hit against the turn so many times in a test match in Australia in the last few years. So Lyon had a few thinking moments there. But yeah, good to see from Shan Masood. Unfortunately, didn't get a lot of help from the other batters.
And I
Mitchell
think what really
Marsh
helped
going
Australia
from,
was
complete obscurity in test matches to the red ball beast he was initially known to be.
Mitch Marsh he's the bison for a reason. This guy is so big, and he has no business being this good. Like, he came back, what, that one game in the Ashes where Cameron Green had to sit out, and then he came back, and since then just hasn't looked the other way. Really nice touch, where I think 5 years ago they were booing him at the MCG for the Boxing Day test, and then this time around everyone was cheering him on when he came to bowl and he came to bat. But yeah, crazy batsman, honestly. He thinks he bowls 140 plus, but I think Mark Howard told him, "Can you just relax? You're bowling 136 on a good day." But yeah, I think Cameron Green, unless they make him open, he's gonna have to wait his turn again. And unfortunately, that's what happens when you get injured and someone comes in and they do well. Reality is, not everyone picks like India, where incumbent has to come back. And shut up.
Ravi, what would you say about Pakistan's bowling, especially in the first innings when you were there in the stands, and the overall performance of someone like Amar Jamal? His experience in Australia
what's
coming in
what's
handy.
what's the deal with Shaheen Shah getting like 5 kilometers per hour slower every test match? Like, what's he trying to pull? I mean, this guy, I saw this meme the other day where he's like, he was bowling. He was quick when he was under 19, and then he was medium fast like a couple years ago. And then when he's married, he's now, slow medium. And, next thing you know, he's bowling spin. I mean, we watched him. I might have said this in the podcast, like in the previous podcast. We were sitting in the end where he was bowling from with the ball going away from us, and it was like, that's really slow. That's surprisingly slow. And then you're watching, Amir Jamal and guys like, let's say, Hassan Ali, who are bowling towards you, and then you can feel the pace because the ball is coming towards you. But Shaheen Shah, he's really lost his, he's become toothless over the past. I'd say he was good in the Asia Cup momentarily, but towards the end and then the World Cup and what followed, he hasn't seemed like himself. And I mean, the only thing I can think of is he might be carrying an injury that we don't know of. He's
Hmm.
bowling within himself.
Too much,
But
too
I
much
don't,
cricket probably. Yeah.
yeah, but I don't see any other reason why he should be bowling this slow and not look lethal at all. Whereas Ahmed Jamal, he was looking much more, he's bowling good areas. You can't expect from him what you expect from Shaheen Shah. But Ahmed Jamal looked like he's got what it takes. And if you give him a couple of years, if you nurse him properly, and if you can get his mechanics right, unlike, let's say, the guy who got injured after the first game,
Khurram Shahzad.
Khurram. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you had you had Junaid Khan, mentoring, not mentoring him, for sort of like foretelling that Khurram Shahzad's biomechanics are horrible, and that you give him 2 games, the third game he will be in a hospital. And while Junaid Khan was saying this video was recorded on the set of DDLJ, in a mustard field with yellow all around him, and him wearing a black Kabuli, suit or whatever. I mean, I sent this to Anav Zarif, and it's like, oh no, I sent it in the group. I sent it
Yeah.
in the group 9.
Yeah.
It was the most, it was the most, Pakistani, Punjabi, Indian village thing you've ever seen.
Yeah.
But man, he's got a point. He's only played a handful of games, and I think he was so underutilized. But he knows what he's doing. I know he's old now. He's way past his prime.
He's now the under
But it
19
just goes
bowling
to
coach or
show.
something like that.
It
Yeah.
goes to show that these guys, and I say this with all the respect in the world, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Afghanistan. I'm not sure about India. But Asian cricketers sort of have a bad name for not being as academically brilliant as you'd expect players from European countries to be, for example. But they do know their craft. They know what they're doing. They know what they're saying, and they know what it
They know the
takes
art of
to
their game. Yeah.
exactly. They've mastered their art. They've mastered their craft. May not be in terms of execution for some players, but the theory, the understanding, they've got much more than that, more than that meets the eye. So you've got to give them that credit. And like I said, with Pakistan's bowling, they sort of, I feel like they're very hujuke bowler. They choose their bowlers on an epiphany, like, oh, he's bowling fast, he's bowling well. He did well this PSL, let's play him. Similar to us in the BPL. Khurram Shahzadia, he's a good bowler. He's got a nice action, sort of like Dale Steyn and whatnot. I sort of feel like his, similarities to Dale Steyn might have played a part in getting him picked. But like I said, the biomechanics are, for a fast bowler, that's what comes first.
Mhm.
So if Amir Jamal can sustain his action without injuries,
Yeah.
you know, Pakistan need that replacement. And I say this, and it's gonna sound sort of, you know, inappropriate, maybe, I don't know. Hassan Ali is not a test bowler, although he's gotten probably most of the. Hassan Ali is not national team material, although he's gotten a few wickets this test match. I think they need somebody to take over from Hassan Ali and sort of play that, a test bowler sort of role. And I think Ahmed Jamal, he's got what it takes to be that sort of bowler.
They've been trying to replace Hassan Ali for years. That's the problem. Every time
Yeah.
someone comes in, they either get injured or they lose form, and then Hassan Ali has found a way
Comes
to
back.
keep himself relevant.
And he actually
It's because
hasn't
he's a
done the
king of the
worst.
station.
He actually hasn't done the worst when he comes back because he looks like except that test match, that second innings there, he looked like the one who could create the most number of opportunities in that first innings when they were bowling. And I think there are things that Shaheen and guys younger can learn from him because even with his limitations, he's still able to make an impact to some extent. Where, like Alvi said, Shaheen's might be getting slower for a reason, but if he's still bowling quicker than Hassan Ali, he might be able to actually take things of Hassan Ali and bowl in that template and use his pace in that template to create opportunities. Because end of the day, they still got Australia all out relatively well in that second innings, despite calls of, this is the slowest Pakistani attack that has come to our shores and things like that, and all of those things. But you can still make it work with that pace.
Other than that, I think top, one topic that's always going to haunt Pakistan cricket is the catching. Abdullah Shafiq's uh, slip fielding
Yeah,
literally
I don't
cost
know.
them the game, and he's still the leading candidate for a slip fielder come the next test. How do you solve that problem? You can drop him on fielding because he's batting well.
I mean, like, I don't know why it took them 3 days to realize that Babur was a better choice at slip than him. Like,
Babar is not captaining, so he doesn't
yeah,
have to be at mid off or mid on or anything
yeah,
like that.
exactly, right? And like, Abdullah Shafiq's really good, bro. Alvis, who the hell is creating a ruckus behind you, anyways? Um, I think what it is with Abdullah Shafiq is, you can let him be at short leg or silly point or whatever it is. He's really good in those close in positions. Or you have to put him at cover or wherever Babar was and let Babar be the slip fielder, because it's clear that he has a confidence issue. He has hard hands, and new ball, hard hands, things are just not gonna go well, right? And you got the Kookaburra, you got the Duke, whatever conditions you go to, it's just not gonna bond well at all. And they can't have a situation where they're dropping so many slip catches, because in that they showed a graphic where Pakistan was way below in that chart on slip catch percentage.
And I think to top it all off, Pat Cummins, is he now literally the definition of a perfect cricketer?
I mean, he's got 20 crores of the IPL, and he's got, I don't even know, a World Cup. He doesn't have a T20 World Cup. That's what he doesn't have.
He does, he does.
He has a T20 World Cup.
He was in the squad in
Oh,
2021.
Indonesia. Yeah, yeah,
2021.
yeah, yeah. Right, right. I forgot about that. My bad. Yeah. So he has everything now.
He's got
And
that face.
he's yeah. I think he's gotten the perfect cricketer tag off Chris Wokes and onto him now. Chris Wokes out. Pat Cummins in.
Wokes is far from it now, very far
Very
from it
far
Walks
now.
from
isn't even in the same league.
it. Yeah, but no. You might say
Boys,
you
I
might
think.
question it for T20s. Pat Cummins, but I think red ball and ODI is
Okay,
way.
random question. Who is, because Australia haven't played T20Is in a while, who is their T20I captain going into the 2020 World Cup?
I think it's Cummins. I think I think so.
He wouldn't even make the 11 regularly, but
Regular.
they need someone.
Exactly, right?
Boys, I think we're pretty much at the end of today's discussion. Not a lot of matches happened in between the last 2 weeks, other than the three series that we covered basically. So going into 2024, what are some of your expectations now that 2024 has technically begun?
Uh, just hope Bangladesh cricket doesn't go down another hole after whatever the T20 World Cup has in store for us. Unfortunately, just like the 2021 World Cup, 2022, no, 2021 T20 World Cup, this year's World Cup report will also, 2023 World Cup report will also never be exposed to us. So you can just hope in 2024. And end of the day, I think one of the things is USA is hosting the World Cup. There's some controversies going on in US with match fixing and umpires getting not paid, league organizers yelling and shouting at people. Just don't want to see any of that in international cricket. So hopefully that tournament goes well in US and West Indies. And yeah, just overall not so much importance on freaking T20 leagues, man.
Alvi?
Like I said, the schedule this year is very boring. You don't want to watch any more Zimbabwe games, any more Afghanistan games, Sri Lanka games. I mean, they're okay in the Asia Cup. You don't want Sri Lanka series anymore. Yeah, nothing to look forward to except for the India series, to be very honest, for me. I think the BPL might peak my interest.
Ambitious
Um,
thought.
Yeah. Apparently there was news we're getting guys like Trent Bolt and Glenn Maxwell
Oh
playing
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
Borishal.
For Mauritius,
So that's
yeah.
why I want to watch the BPL. T20 World Cup, for the 4 games we play against associate nations
Bolter
before
bowling
we
देखो
get
नि मोनू.
eliminated.
बोल्टर bowling देख्छौ नि मनु.
So yeah, Mono Boulder bowling, and then the 4 T20 World Cup games we play against associate nations before we get eliminated. Um, losing 3-2 to Zimbabwe at the Mirpur
And
Patket.
yeah, yeah. Because of Sikandar
Uh,
Raza, that's
Sikandar
all.
Raja.
Because of
And
Sikandar
Sikandar.
Raza
worst of all,
single-handedly
Wellington
beating us,
Masakadza
Oh
will
well.
get us. Wellington Masakadza.
and Nicaragua. And then, yeah, watch us go to West Indies and lose the ODI series to them in December. So yeah,
We'll
it's
have
gonna
some
be,
nice pictures from the beaches.
yeah,
Yes.
100%. And I'll tell you this next year, because it's all against the relatively weaker teams, with all due respect, it's gonna be a lot more trolling this year. I can guarantee you.
The content will be hot.
Yeah, shout out to random posts. They posted something yesterday and I loved it. So when Shanto, when he came to bowl in the 10th over, and then so the page posted Shanto in the 10th over, and then 2 pictures of Khalid Mahmood Chujon sir gambling at the casino in Adelaide.
Random post is going
Oh my
up
god.
a notch these days. They're upping
Yeah,
their
it's
game
good
really.
quality content, 100%. Yeah. Once again, BSP, and we're still waiting for you. They haven't restarted yet. Maybe this year, maybe
Maybe this year
2024.
in 2024 we'll have it. Who
They're
knows?
just a little camera
And
shy.
yeah, Tormuj has been very quiet.
Surprisingly.
I
I
know.
mean, not that I'm complaining, but surprisingly.
Or is it because I'm blocked? I think it's. I haven't seen Tormuj content because I'm
He haven't
blocked.
even
I
followed, so I
just.
wouldn't know.
Yeah. Okay. My bad. Yeah.
No, but he always comes up on my, what do you call those
Suggested.
suggested for use? But he
Yeah.
hasn't been coming up. Maybe thanks to you. Thankfully you stopped commenting and reacting on his posts. You're an enabler, Alvi. You got to stop that.
I enable myself the most.
He's
Yeah.
made only 2-3 posts in the last 5 days, so it makes sense. He's quiet.
It's only because A, Pakistan is losing, B, Riyadh is already back in the team, and C, Borodin and New Year পালন করতে হয় না.
Yeah.
Crazy times. Okay, boys, once again, thank you very much. And once again, to everyone, a very happy new year. Stay tuned to Bagherda, both with the YouTube channel and our Facebook page.
Yes,
We
sir.
still don't know if the Facebook page will have a different name by tomorrow. But stay tuned both. If you know, you know.
Or one number less.
Follow us on Instagram as well for some quicker than usual updates, because our updates usually launch 10 to 12 seconds earlier on Instagram than they do on Facebook, for what
Yeah.
that's worth.
For whatever exactly.
And also our stuff gets copied on Facebook, but not on Instagram.
But not exactly. Yeah. People don't copy paste our content. Yeah. But no,
All right.
thanks, boys. It's been a pleasure. And
Yeah, a lot of
hopefully
shots in
much
the
more.
last 3 minutes.
Yeah, that was more than expected. Everyone catching strays.
No, I'm still imagining we can literally wake up tomorrow. It's a new year, and then we're gonna see Bagherada's name has been changed. There's gotta be something.
Because
Or we're shadow banned again.
or that. Who knows? All right. Happy New Year, guys.
এবার তো হ্যাপি নিউ ইয়ার বলতেই পারেন নাকি?
না ভাই পারি না।